Good evening and welcome to, this is Judy Somos, and I'm welcoming you into the Restoring Optimal Wellness. And this is about the three keys to radiant energy. And I'm so glad to have you here. I'm glad to welcome you. We're going to be talking about the first key tonight. And just before we start, I'd like to ask you to take a moment and think about what is it that originally brought you here? I know that invitation came out a little while ago and it had a number of different symptoms asking you, have you had brain fog or memory issues lately? Do you find yourself running low on energy, having fatigue? There's also how well are you sleeping? What's your energy level like? Is it consistent, or are you falling over sometimes during the day? So those are key areas that I'd like you to tune into right now as we have our time together and talk about what it is that that's the real keys to radiant energy and wellness. And before we start, I'd love to tell you just a little bit about who I am and what I do. So I've been doing spiritual mentoring, counseling, or not counseling, coaching for the last 13 years or so. And it's been my joy to work with typically women and also men who lately find themselves with exactly these kind of symptoms. I don't have a medical background, but I've been trained in how consciousness, the mind body, is unified, and the wisdom that the body has that helps us go in deeply and find out what the potential emotional impacts are on the body, and the consciousness raising and how that relates to our body and how it functions. So I'm really excited to bring this, to me, brand new information and share with you the 3-month program that I've put together that I'm really excited about. So that's a little bit of my background. I was exposed to and started learning about this particular type of energy work about 4 to 6 months ago. I've run this program a number of times with big success. Often it's with people, well, people who are flat on their back, exhausted, drained, having trouble focusing and having clear mental functioning. And on those people, this work has had a dramatic effect. And other people who are actually doing pretty well on a day-to-day basis in their lifetime also talk about feeling lighter, brighter, clearer thinking, and so on. And I'm just so excited because that's what this is all about. It's being able to be the best that we can possibly be on a day-to-day, as much as possible, all-day basis. And then at night, when it's sleep time, having a really deep, good, restful, and relaxing and fulfilling sleep time. The type of work, the type of rest and sleep that has you excited the next morning, able to wake up and really do your best the next day. So as I mentioned, this is a 3-month program, and I'm going to talk to you about the basis of this is all about the endocrine system, and that's what we're going to focus on tonight. What's the endocrine system? Just a very brief introduction to it if you're not familiar with it already. And then how this work, that energy work, relates to the endocrine system and what you can look forward to. So let me get started here. I did send you this diagram that I'm going to be referencing along the way. And why, so what's the big deal with the endocrine system? Some of you will know a lot about it. Some of you, this may be something brand new, but I'm going to talk a little bit and put the pieces together for you, hopefully. And so the endocrine system, for two reasons, is very important to our humanness, put it that way, on a physical level and on a spiritual / energetic level. So let me start with the spiritual first. I've had a couple of my mentors talk to me about the endocrine system being the gateway to spirituality and your spiritual work. So if you're somebody who's consciously on their path, maybe you're meditating, maybe you're doing some kind of spiritual practice, this system is really important. It's a series, on a physical level, as I mentioned to you, it's a set of glands, and when they work together, it's really harmonious, and our bodies are just like this fine-tuned, beautiful, similar to an engine on a racing car, just working together in harmony. But there's a lot of things that are going on that can potentially take us out of that beautiful physical harmony. And so what is that? Well, it could be the food you eat. It could be, a lot of people like myself are fairly careful to very careful about what they eat. So that's part of it. It's about drinking pure water. It's about the environment that we're in. So I happen to live in the East Bay, and that can be a place of a lot of pollution, a lot of allergy symptoms, and so on. So that's a stressor on the physical bodies, certainly, and it does affect the endocrine system if you're somebody who has allergies, let's say. There's the stress of work, perhaps family, perhaps friends. So the list can go on and on. And a lot of it is all about how we handle that stress, because life is going to have stress in it. And the difference is, as I mentioned, how well can we handle it? And that is part of what the endocrine system is about. One aspect of it that we're going to talk about a little bit are the adrenal glands. So those adrenal glands, if you're familiar with them, they rest on top of the kidney on the back side of our body. There's two of them, and they're known for, a lot of people reference them as that fight or flight. When we're under, let's just call it attack, let's say, whether it's pollution in the air or something we've eaten or a stress of work or family or whatever it happens to be, that's the aspect of the adrenal system that launches in and tries to help us out in a fight or flight type of way. And when we're constantly, I'll just say, bombarded by stress, whatever form it comes in, sometimes the adrenal glands don't get a chance to come down out of that fight or flight and be in restive mode. And that's a big, big stress on the body, because remember, these are, it's a system of glands. They all interact with each other. They're communicating. They're working in harmony or not. And so having just the adrenals constantly under stress can be a huge burden on the entire system. So this is something that we're going to talk about. Again, if you look at this diagram, the adrenals will be over here, but on the back side of the body. So if we start at the very top, there's the pituitary and the hypothalamus looking at this sheet. If you don't have yours handy, here's mine. It's up at the very top where the brain is. So that's often something that's very involved with any kind of meditation, visualization, third eye, all those type of things, the gateway to spirituality. And there's the thyroid gland that is all about metabolism. How well does our body convert? It's an aspect of how the body converts food into energy. So some people have a thyroid that is overactive, and some underactive, and some just perfect. And you can often tell by the way somebody looks what their metabolism is like, how well their thyroid works. Some people have energy and they can be running all day, and some people are sluggish. That can be a reflection, again, without getting too medical, can be a reflection of how well the thyroid gland is working or not. The thymus that's down here, I don't know if you can see where I'm pointing. Again, this is where the thymus is, between the thyroid here and the heart chakra farther below, or the heart center below. So that gland is about working with the immune system. The adrenal glands we talked about. Pancreas is another aspect of the endocrine system. And you might have heard of, maybe you're very familiar with the body's way of coping with getting too much sugar or too little sugar, how much sugar is in the blood system. That's partially controlled by the pancreas, and the ways that you can tell whether things are flowing properly or not, and regulated by the body well or not, is that there's typically a lot of mood swings with somebody who has pancreatic issues, and that's from the emotional component of the endocrine system. So what else is on this list is the ovaries and the testes, and as you know, this is about, it's very hormone related, reproduction systems and so on. And when that's out of alignment with the rest of the system, that can also cause a lot of very severe to difficult to mild symptoms and so on. So I just want to share with you in all of this quick brief overview is that this system is a very, very basic but very important component of our bodies. And when it's harmonized and working, then, you know, life is very different than for somebody who has one aspect out of the healthy range and is looking for a way to come back into that healthy range. And what a lot of people leave out when they think about if they're not doing well and they're thinking about going to mainstream doctors is the energetic component. So we think about vitamins, supplements, we think about, if we're into mainstream medicine, drugs, prescription drugs, we think about going to a doctor and so on. And that's all well and good. There are other aspects to this that are maybe not recognized as well as we'd like them to, and still very important, and that is the energetic component. So how well, from an energy level basis, from a healing basis, is our endocrine system supported? Because if it's not supported well, then again, there could be sleeping problems, which means the rest of the day could be really lopsided. There could be brain fog, memory issues and challenges. There could be focusing on work, focusing on children, families, whatever is in, is in front of you in that moment. And so it could be about weight swings. So there's all these different components that are involved. And what that says to me, again, is how important the endocrine system is in our lives. So what if I told you that I found a way that through the work that I do, on a 3-month basis, and this is part of the program that I'm sharing with you, there's a way that I can help you from an energetic perspective. And so hopefully, again, you're drinking pure water, you're eating good food, you're getting plenty of rest, and so on. From an energetic aspect, that I can support you through this program to, on a regular basis, remotely, key into you and work with your endocrine system energetically and help support it. So what this is about is the 3-month program. You can be doing whatever you do during a regular basis. You don't have to know when I'm going to do it, but on a regular, there's a whole protocol to this. On a regular basis, I would be going in and working and optimizing the functioning of each individual organ and then how they work together also. And so you could be sleeping, you could be driving, you could be working, you could be playing, whatever it is that you do in your day-to-day life. I would be going in there and doing what I mentioned, optimizing the functioning of each organ and the whole endocrine system and so on, and working with the higher level energies. And I've seen some really big success with people who have, as I mentioned, some challenges, anywhere from challenging to severe energy issues, as I mentioned, trouble getting out of bed in the morning, having to lay down in the afternoon, falling asleep during the day, at work, let's say. So these are people who've seen big shifts, and they've seen them fairly quickly. The rest of the people, like myself, what I noticed is feeling lighter, feeling over time a clearing of my brain functioning, recall, and so on. That's really exciting for me. I can't tell you how excited I was. And just a steady but very, very subtle shift. So some people don't feel anything at all. And what I've noticed is there's a lot of things that I believe in 100%, 1,000%. My inner knowing, I know it's really good for me, and yet I don't see any really visible changes. And this might be one of them, depending on where you are in how you're feeling and how you're doing. And I'm happy to talk to you about it offline. But so I'm just sharing with you that if you're going through life and things are going great, you have some minor to medium level issues, this is still very, very good. This can be potentially still very, very good for you. And the shifts can be very subtle. So I read something a little while ago that said that by the time most of us go to the doctor for the example that was given was about kidneys. By the time somebody goes to a doctor, there's an 80% effect on the kidneys. So what this is telling me is that many of us aren't always as tuned in and know what's going on with their bodies as we could or can or might. But this is something that I know works really well. So I'm happy to share this with you. So that's the basic foundational piece of this 3-month program is the energy work, the remote energy work that I would be doing. At this point, when I explained it the first time to my first group of people, everybody stopped me and said, how do I sign up? So hopefully you're at that place already. Just go on a little bit longer. So there's 2 other keys, right? So tonight we covered the endocrine system and how, this 3-month program supports it. That will be going on the whole time. On a more you and I basis, we're going to have 2 more evenings like this where there'll be 2 other keys that I'll be sharing with you that are really, from a coaching perspective, really, really important to how you live your life, what kind of outcomes you have, especially in challenging areas of your life. And I'm going to keep the other 2 keys secret for now. You'll have to join me to know them and explore them with me. And I really hope that you'll consider and sign up as soon as possible. So the way to sign up is you can do a PayPal with me. You can do a check. You can call me and gladly, or email me and I'll gladly share my address with you. or we can do a credit card over the phone. And I'd be really thrilled to have you sign up and join me for this 3-month program. And so the next question is, now that we've talked about how, you're probably wondering, well, how much is it? And so today is Monday the 21st. If you sign up before this Friday at 8 p.m., it's $149. If you wait longer than that, then the price jumps up to $199. If you think about it, I, for instance, have lots of supplements that I take that easily cost $50 a month and more. So what you're getting is much more than the equivalent of one bottle of your favorite supplement a month, where I'll be going in on a regular basis and really helping you and fine-tuning your endocrine system so that as this goes along and starts to build and build and build, whether you feel it or not, you'll know on some inner level that this is something that's really good for you and it's important to have. The person who shared this with me, my mentor, recommended that we do this twice a year. So I'm offering it to you for the first time. And I really encourage you to jump in and say yes, see what it's like, experience it. I'll be sending you a form out that you can track your experience every week, so that because this is really subtle, we're talking about energies, so that you can see the difference on a week-to-week basis and track it for yourself. See what the symptoms are that you're saying goodbye to. So I'm really excited. I hope that you'll join me. It's been a pleasure being with you. And again, if you have questions or concerns, my phone number is area code 925-787-4550. And you've gotten a bunch of emails from me, but just to make sure you know, my email address is Judy, Judy, .somos, SOMOS, and that's the same forwards and backwards, @gmail.com. And I wish you a wonderful, wonderful evening, and I look forward to talking to you. Thanks so much. Bye now.